Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 12, jumping into the Gauntlet. And we're going to play a pretty similar lineup to what we did in the previous one. We're going to be playing Quinn Misfortune Scouts, Akshan Sivir, and then the Taliyah Ziggs video, the deck that we used in the previous video. And kind of the idea that we're doing with this archetype lineup is I pulled up the kind of win rates off of the Balco site, and we're looking to just ban Yuumi Pantheon. Right here's the Scouts win rate against Yuumi Pantheon at 31%. The Akshan Sivir win rate's a little bit better at 44%, and then as we see with the Ziggs deck, it's at 41%. So it's a pretty horrific matchup across the board. The intent is just to go out and ban it. And then as we take a peek at the other archetypes that are up in the more common deck lists, we're pretty positive against darkness across the board. Okay-ish against lurkers. Things like the Taliyah Ziggs deck do fare much better against lurkers than, say, something like Scouts. But, this is kind of the idea, is that we will ban Yuumi Pantheon anytime it shows up. If we don't have to run up against Yuumi Pantheon, we typically try to ban out the Yordles in Arms deck. All the decks that we're sporting are fairly bad against it. And then otherwise, we'll just kind of pick and choose from there. But, we're using the kind of general idea that we can already beat up on control decks. These are all pretty good matchups. Every deck we're playing has a good matchup against darkness, just in the general sense. And so we try to tune our decks a little bit towards the go wide strategies and the swarm style decks, the aggro decks, and try to better prepare against those. Since we should ban out the tough matchup, already be good against the control decks, and then we're looking to just pick up a few percentage points against the decks that would typically be coin flips. And so in the Scouts deck, we are playing the ones with the Mirai Wardens and the Island Navigators. Only one Island Navigator out of this one, but I have been quite a big fan of having multiple 1-drops in the deck. So that's why we play Penitent Squire in this version. And then we also have the singular copy of Radiant Guardian to help assist against the burn style decks. Pretty common for this deck just to get banned out every time. If you're not familiar with what we're doing out of Scouts, we've done a few videos on it up to this point, but the Stony Suppressors are the big addition that you typically don't see played, that we're trying to take advantage of. You can imagine people out there trying to play Nars and Pokesticks and Wallops and everything. If you can make 2 and 3 and 4 of their spells more expensive, it really just helps kick off the aggro plan. Over to Akshan Sivir. Pretty straightforward list. We're kind of in the same vein of the Scouts deck. We're playing 4 1-drops. A lot of people just play Fleet Feather Trackers or just play Treasure Seekers. They don't play this many ones. And so we're kind of boosted up there. And then we're also playing 2 copies of Radiant Guardian here. You would typically find more Vicar and Bruisers, but I'm going for the lifesteal aspect of the Radiant Guardian to help again with the kind of more aggro, hey, let's trade and see who wins style matchups. And then the last one is Taliyah Ziggs. This is what we just posted in the previous video. The only difference from that video is I took out the 1 copy of Pokestick and swapped in Shapestone, and then otherwise we're rocking just the same. And so if you're not familiar with the idea of this deck, it tries to do aggro stuff early on. You're trying to get your opponent down to about 10 or so, and then you want to play a flipped Absolver onto Taliyah. The idea was, your opponent throws a 3/3 in front of Taliyah. They only take 2 damage from her flip ability. But if you give her Overwhelm, then her actual natural power punches through. So if they block her with a 3/3, you get the 2 damage off of the 1 remaining flip ability. But then you get the extra 6 damage in from the Overwhelm. So the same things apply to Ziggs. You're looking to chunk through these big blowout turns, as to where it was with something like the Quinn deck or with the Akshan Sivir deck, our big blowouts come from Golden Aegis. Here we're trying to do it with the Absolver, this burst spell onto a landmark, and getting the overwhelms with either Taliyah or Ziggs. So yeah, looking good. Let's go ahead and get ourselves going. We are going to have to go and turn something premium on the way, but let's see our decks here real quick first. I think we'll try and boost something out of Taliyah Ziggs. I'm sure there's a real winner in here. Ooh, Explosive Minefield. That's what I'm talking about. It might be the only common we have left. I've been boosting things up in here. This is so close. The Arsenal, Desert Naturalist, and then just the Explosive Minefield. Man, it is pretty close to full premium, but we'll pay the price for the Explosive Minefield. It's going to get somebody today. That's how I've been getting people that play Yuumi Pantheon, is blowing them out with the Explosive Minefield. But let's see what happens. We won't have to play that whatsoever today, and so it just makes it all the easier. What's going on? Is this broken? We pushed the button. Oh, it's going to crash. Awesome. Good job, Runeterra. All right, I think we're back. Let's give that another try. Off to a good start. The game just crashes right as you hit the play button. I was kind of worried it would put us into pick ban. I'm not sure what happens if you run into pick ban and the you get disconnected. But here we're gonna ban the Pantheon deck. That's not Yuumi Pantheon, it's Pantheon Shyvana, but they're pretty similar to the same ideas, and so looks like they have some kind of stun deck coming out of Yasuo, and then Ahri, P, and Z. I'm not exactly sure what Ahri, P, and Z is supposed to amount to, but maybe the deck list thing will pop up before we get ourselves into it. And he bans Akshan Sivir. Okay, interesting. I'm just going to start off with the scouts. I don't, not knowing what we're getting into, it's a little questionable as to where we want to run. Where we want to run the Taliyah. I worry about the deck that we just got paired into, having things like homecomings and stuns to shut down the big overwhelm attack, and so I feel at least a little bit better that we got scouts paired into this deck. All right, and then how much do these decks ever care about trading with Mirai Warden? Like, I don't think we need to boost the stats with the Duran Sculptor. I think we're just going to come out here and try to trade with everything that he has on the board. So, Navori Conspirator, you got it. So we can get in there and battle with him eventually. We did pick up a Sharp Sight to be a little defensive if we want. There's the Misfortune. Excellent. Ready to party. It's like I don't really want to get too involved with this Sharp Sight, though. He's down to 1 mana. Well, we're probably not super safe with the Misfortune. We'll do the Vanguard Sergeant. If he has a recall, right, the singular card recall and makes the Blade Twirler a 3/3, it's kind of a problem. So we'll take the 3 damage here. It's not that big of a deal. He's not doing super aggro stuff to us. Ooh, a second Sharp Sight? Could really turn the tide here. So we did set it up nicely to have the 2 mana banked up for all the rest of our combats. That's just how we tried to sequence it, ensuring that we had the 3 drop for this turn. But I'm curious what he plays, because I'm pretty intent on just attacking with everything here, risking getting Misfortune into combat, and then Sharp Sighting if we need a Protector. But he does have some plays that could, like, over Boomer, if you will, given that he could he could have, like, played a Homecoming. Now that he's down to 1 mana, it still kind of feels like a recall, but the recall is just going to go on the Dancing Droplet. I don't think this is too big of a deal. So it's going to take the point of damage. The 3/3 Blade Twirler gets to go in front of Misfortune or something. Yeah, this isn't a big deal. I'm not even opposed to just losing her here. I wonder if, like, we're actually the not if we're the control in this matchup. It seems kind of odd when they have Yasuo Leonas to consider ourselves the control, but at least the way this game is kind of sequenced, it may be the case. Weird that he's playing Zenith Blade, so.
Want to see these moves up close?
Okay. So we'll get us bored. The recalls don't matter, right? We'd be making the trade here anyways with the Mirai Warden. Looks good. Even got some of those sweet emotes out of him. Ooh, I wonder how choice this Suppressor is going to be. We'll try to play it like second, right? If we need to Sharp Sight this turn, I would rather not play the Suppressor, but if at the end of the day we drop the Sculptor, the Suppressor, and then lead in with Cytherea next turn, that would be fairly choice. Okay. Who's going to stun our two weakest ones? Not a big deal. Let's get Cytherea down. Say, oh shit, Bust, you got you got the Stony Suppressor out. But the only thing that would be bad here would be like a Concussive Palm. It's very realistic that they do have it. If he Concussive Palms the Cytherea, it kind of sucks. This is very similar in shutting down our Misfortune attack, but I think we still just want to slam in. She's not going to flip this game, and I want to get the damages in. So I'm curious now how much we have to worry about like Yasuo coming down next turn. The Eye of Raharok's going to take him up to 5. And so we can start doing the big stun things. There he is. I mean, it's a pretty decent place for the Stony Suppressor, though. If he's going to come out here and try to play like Concussive Palms. Alright, this is about to get bad, though, isn't it? This is about to get bad. It's been a while since we've seen old Yasuo. Okay. So he's not going to have another eye, right? He didn't Daybreak it. So let's get the Stony Suppressor down. Expensive up these spells again. Not worried about these. And here comes the thunder, right? The shield vault, that only does 5 damage to her, right? She still survives it? Okay. He's down to 2 cards as well. Not tons and tons of stuff that we have to worry about. Again, recall here would be pretty bad, but otherwise I think we're okay. Make a 3/5, dude. Make a 3/5 Suppressor. Sure. That feels like a pretty big win. And so I think we can just lead with the 4 Demacia now. I was going to say, if we draw like a really cheap unit, we might get away from it. But here I think the only thing we have to worry about is like 2 fast stuns, which doesn't seem like they have. We might have to worry about the likes of a Steel Tempest out of this, but like that would suck. If he has Leona, that would suck. These units aren't relevant though. We should be pretty safe here, right? He blocks 2, he has a stun for 1. He has to have like double Steel Tempest to get out of this, but we still have the Suppressor on the board. I don't think there's anything else that gets us. It's so weird to see this 5/6 Ravoon. I always forget that he got that point of health boost. All right, move it around a little bit, see how it feels, but I think we're good here. There's the Steel Tempest. Sure. All right, the scouts take him down. I'm a little worried about Taliyah Ziggs against this deck. If we have like a lot of early aggression, it's okay, but our combo turns don't quite work. I guess the perk. I don't know how Taliyah works if she gets stunned mid flip thing when the little discs go on the board, right? I think if she gets recalled, they don't do anything. I assume if she gets stunned, they don't do anything either. All right. R, E, P, and Z. No idea what this is going to be, but let's do some battle. I have tempted to hang on to the Unraveled Earth. It plays quite nicely in these decks, but I think we need a little bit more stuff to do. Although the Ancient Preparations is pretty good at getting us stuff to do. I really like just curving straight out, though, whether or not it's like 1-1-2 or 1-2-3. And starting with the Unraveled Earth doesn't really help us do that. Don't want any of these. I think we'll just skip this one. I could see like an argument for picking up like the Inventive Chemist, maybe. But I don't think we want these. Let's let it go. The Arsenal. That's not what we were looking for, but he's always here ready for action. What's he doing? It's like he's playing like Lulu Draven, but doesn't have the Lulus in here. Okay. We aren't presenting too much, though. You know, it's like I kind of want to go ahead and drop the Unraveled Earth just to get the landmarks on board, but I also don't want to advertise that we don't have anything to do in this combat because we tap out. Right, because now we miss. He plays a unit and we miss the Unraveled Earth on it, so we can just kind of add Ari here. All right, well, there's our boy Ziggs. He'll be flipping pretty soon, 2 units away. We also have the landmark destruction in hand if we want to kind of force our card. And here, if you aren't familiar with the deck, you can kind of see the full combo coming together, right? Say we have Ziggs on board, we have Hexplosive Minefield on board, we go into the next turn, we unleashed energy onto Ziggs, stunning their biggest unit, and then we can give the Ziggs Overwhelm. Just make a monstrous attack with the Overwhelm punching in. Can't do all that here, right? I mean, we could Absolver up our Ziggs if we wanted to, but we're going to have to wait until next turn to be able to pull that kind of thing off. Shaped Stone. Okay. Do something like this, take him down where we can. Yeah, we're way short of lethal.
It's too late for you.
Shadows of the Past. The fuck? Okay. That wasn't on my radar, but sure. So he doesn't get that. He just like loses his whole board. Gets a ton of value out of it, but huh. How do we feel about just taking down this dancing droplet? It doesn't seem awesome. I kind of want to make sure we have the landmark on board, so if we go for a big Ziggs turn on our next attack, we have the landmark if we need it. Taliyah to the party. Everybody's here for the combos now. All right, so stun that Shadow Assassin. See where we get. Keep Abal in the arsenal. If you watched our previous video and got to see the massive misplays we made with the arsenal, it was like we gotta make up for it here. We gotta get some vengeance. But, do we care about this Ari? I don't think so. He gets to draw some cards and stuff, but we have to, well, we have to lose a landmark, but kind of like the downside to next turn anyways is we don't have a good unleashed energy. Well, yeah, the open, it doesn't matter. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and take her down. We'll destroy a landmark because we're building up to the arsenal. Try and take down Ari. Say no attacks for you. So this will actually be the big boom of a turn. If he doesn't play another unit, we can unleashed energy to blow up the minefield. The Shadow Assassin can't block. He can only block one of our champions then, and then we can overwhelm the one that he does block. He added the unit now, so it's a little different, but we would have had a potential for a big win there. I think I'm cool just to start going for it, right? We're just going to be going in on the Arsenal next turn. Looks like he's got some big plans though. Do stuff before we play our spells, please. That's the way we would prefer to see it. Iterative improvement, okay, and recall. So we're currently getting in for 9. Yeah, this is a super lethal if everything goes right. Let's just go for it so everybody gets to see the magic in action. Take him to neg 5. Not bad. So yeah, this is the whole idea here, right? With his normal block here, he was just taking 4 damage from the Taliyah circles, but once you put the Absolver onto her, and you take that unit down, you get all of that bonus overwhelm damage in. Pretty cool. And that kind of leads to the second point with this deck building as to why I like the ancient preparations in this deck, because there are some specific times like here where you just needed to hit our curve. There's going to be times where you want to dig for the Arsenal, times you want to dig for an Overwhelm Giver, whether or not that's the Absolver or the Magus. And so I've been pretty happy with it. All right, what do we got here? Looks like we got some Pantheon Taric right in the middle. Ban. Okay, so both of these matchups are pretty decent against Darkness. I don't care what has to run into it. I think the Sejuani Gnar is the Overwhelm / Papercraft Dragon deck, and I don't think it was good against Scouts, but it might be good with Taliyah Ziggs. I'm not exactly sure. I honestly haven't played this matchup with Taliyah Ziggs. All right, we'll hang on to Ziggs here. It's kind of awkward trading Taliyah away because she's just like so expensive and doesn't do anything in the early game, but she's so important to actually draw. So we at least picked up a nice curve here. And excuse me, I like to start with the chemists in these points to try and get the bouncing bomb leveled up. Scrappy bomb. So many bombs. Boom, all those nexuses, sure. Seems okay. Got that curve, my dude. Got the Roiling Sands on the board, make it tough for him to block this turn. We can kind of just throw away this Ziggs as well. Ideally, we wouldn't have to just throw him away, but if he dies in combat, it's not the end of the world since we have another one in hand. I assume his block's going to go in front of Ruin Runner and then just take a handful of damage. We're getting pretty far ahead on board. Is he considering the troll chant? Okay. Not bad. See if he's going to drop an ice shard on us now that he's now that he's blown up all of his units to 1 health. Boom baboon. I wonder if he adds another unit to the board before we play this bouncing bomb. That's probably kind of that's kind of greedy. Let's be real. Get him with the chain smokers, Ziggs. Good job. Okay, works for me. And a Taliyah. Beautiful. So I guess the question's going to come down is like, do we want to open with this Taliyah? And like, probably not. I'm kind of okay with trading Ziggs for the Tux speaker. Oh, we don't have to do that, right? He has a vulnerable bot. Okay. I like it. Sure. All the Tusk speakers coming at us. Get that Ziggs flip, get a couple 2/2s on the board. It's looking pretty good. Might have to deal with the Sejuani this turn, which we don't have a great answer to, but we should be able to get wider than Sejuani, and the rest of these attacks here are garbage. I think we can go with the Rockhopper. I don't want to... it's like I want to get some of this Preservarium going, but I also want to end the turn fully wide. I think we're going to run into the problem as to where we just can't deal enough damage, and then we might have to deal with like a Sejuani on our next turn, and then a Papercraft Dragon on the opponent's attack token, and we're just going to get boomed and can't deal with it. But it's like he's coming in. This would be a real choice if he opened here. We got to make some trades, and then we get to blow up the Roiling Sands. I would have been pretty happy with that. Herald of the Magus was a huge draw. Okay. Alright, feeling a lot better about this now. Is he even realistically going to attack here? It does not seem like a good attack, even if he has a Troll Chant. And the Absolver? Sometimes you just got it all. Boom. Alright, Taliyah Ziggs bringing that heat. Should have a good matchup with the Scouts against Darkness. Scouts against this deck we just played, I think it's much closer to even. It might be a little bit of an underdog, but I wonder how that looks on here. If it isn't even listed, that would be like Gnar and Sejuani. We have to look up Sejuani on the matchup table. Sejuani. Here we go, Sejuani Gnar. Oh, it looks like it's a plus matchup for the Scouts. Cool. And not a bad start. He did switch over to the Darkness deck to play against Scouts with. Alright, bringing it all. I like this start here as opposed to playing the Mirai Warden. It sucks a little bit if they play Vile Feast, right? If they Vile Feast the tracker and then have the blocker for the Broadwing, but it shuts down all of their other early plays. Like, is this going to pull up Darkness? No, it's not on the deck tracker. But if one of their plays is one of their 3/2s for 2, then you've just completely shut down their board. And so it just feels much, much more powerful if you just shut it all down. Threatening the trade with the Fleet Feather Tracker as opposed to potentially getting something with the Warden. Pokey Stick, that's fine. Nice little build up here. block. You have to say it like you mean it. It just drop the blocks. I'm ready. Oof. Oh, friend. This is a board.
To meet you, I'm Isla.
Wonder if he drops a Vagar here. Just to get the big blocker on board. Nope. He can darkness our Brightsteel if he wants, but we're still looking pretty decent this turn. The box, that's lame. Who plays the box? Apparently this guy, but most certainly lame. But, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Like, if we go into next turn, he plays the Darkness on our 3-2, and then we get to follow up with Quinn. Like, we're getting pretty far ahead on board. I don't think I'm quite ready up to this space to where we open with a For Demacia. But if we get to, like, open with a Quinn attack, it's pretty big.
Guess I'm the big guns now.
Senna, he's out of mana. It's a little unfortunate. I mean, we can play Quinn and block her with Quinn, but
Demacia needs healers.
I guess that's not bad. We get into threaten to kill her next turn with the Valor. He can fast Darkness onto Valor if he wants, but is that how we feel about this? Kind of forces them into, if he wants to protect his Senna, then he has to Darkness the bird, and then if he wants to just take down our Quinn, he can. The kind of like other line we can look to do is just to hook Senna with the bird, try and draw out the Darkness, and then get the kill onto Senna with Quinn, which I think I like a little bit more. This 4 damage isn't that bad.
Still heart, steady aim. You'll pay.
We got any elites? had to stop and make sure we had an elite.
I ran as fast as I could.
This could. I don't think we'd want to make a Golden Aegis turn this turn, but it is pretty tempting, right? If we hit for 8, he lets the Senna combat happen, or if he darknesses the Broadwing mid-combat so that Senna survives because it only deals 1 damage. Well, I guess the Darkness does just kill the Broadwing, but all that seems okay.
Stalling, huh?
Come on board with this. It's one of these spots. If he drops the Darkness onto our Broadwing, then it still gets the we could sharp sight kill onto Senna. So how does this work now? So we're going to play Golden Aegis. He's going to Darkness the Broadwing or Darkness the Sergeant.
Gotta survey the battlefield.
I think we hit the Broadwing, right? Because he can Darkness down our Vanguard Sergeant either way. We're going to be a point of damage short like this, but he has to Darkness our 3-2 to get out. And he's like, he has to hit this one, and so he's just going to do it anyways, right? Okay. Well, I guess technically he doesn't have to, but he's going to lose his Senna this way. Right, we lethal if he doesn't block a 3-2 or block a Quinn with Senna.
No. Moving in. Don't have any warning shots.
Okay. Seems good.
I will shape death.
Got the Ixtali. Always annoying.
Through conflict, we grow. You're easy to track.
So that'll take him up to 5. And then I think next turn we want to just open with Quinn with the sharp side on her. Makes him have to have like a reactionary answer right away, and still gives us some follow-up options if this fails. Right, so if he needs to have a vengeance on Quinn, or she's just going to lethal. And then if he vengeances that costs 6 mana, he probably can't come back with just 2. Sure. Get more Quinn birds while we're at it. I think we've done it, fam. Sure.
Looking for trouble? It found you.
I'm going to keep playing cards. All right, nice victory. Nice victory. So yeah, I hope you all got to you get to celebrate 311 Day a little bit yesterday. I've been listening to him all day. It's been quite the joyous 311 Day for me. Get a nice 5 to 6 hours of their music in while you're working. Do it every year. Message my brother. He's a big fan. It's always good. Okay, so what are we going to do here? Nobody playing Pantheon out of this set. I think the Draven Scion matchup is kind of okay. The one that I was typically worrying about, like as we saw with the previous one, was the Sejuani decks. I do think that this Sejuani Gangplank could give quite a bit of problems to essentially all of our decks. They're able to build up those big boards that we can't we can't stop with our blockers, and so that's what I'm leaning towards. I don't think the discard aggro out of Draven is that big of a deal anymore. I think all of our decks can handle it reasonably well. And then I'm not exactly sure what Bandle City Vi is, but I think that would probably be like something more along the lines of a Darkness style deck, and we get to hopefully beat up on it. I'm going to start with Taliyah Ziggs. I want to be able to take Sivir into the Heimerdinger deck if we need to, and so if we lead off with Taliyah Ziggs and beat something, I don't want to have to play against the Draven deck with Akshan Sivir, although it's probably a reasonable matchup. All right, kind of an icky start. Let's hang on to the Devout. This is one of the more important units that we can find, but we need to get a 1 or a 2. Okay, Ancient Preparations is a little slow, but it'll be online for his turn 3 attack. Oh, the Taliyahs. All right, that's a pretty bad collection of cards again. I'm kind of like half tempted to keep the Naturalist, but I think we just want to get rid of all of these and look for a 1 or a 2. Found one. Not the strongest bro in the world, but sometimes you just need a bro. Something to stem the bleeding. Okay, interesting with the minefields and the Taliyah being able to shut a lot of this down. The question here starts to be, are we willing to just throw the Endless Devout away in front of Draven? And I think that's just a wholehearted yes. I want to get this unit on the board and boost it with Taliyah. It's going to take us a few turns to get the Sarcophagus going, but I think this is good.
Now we're cooking.
Need discard. Did it really not show us? Come on here, thing. Weird. Okay. I need a little something to do, but we're not getting boomed too hard here. Again, I'm not amped about these. Like, next turn, we can get up to 3 mana for the Rite of the Arcane. So we could, like, we're 100% going to play Taliyah. Taliyah's going to hit the sarcophagus. We can still cast Rite of the Arcane if we play the minefield this turn. I'm on board with that. So we're going to have to worry about getting boomed next turn, but after that turn, hopefully the sarcophaguses, the sarcophagi, are enough to carry us. So the way that this would be bad is if he opens on us. Looks like he's going to open on us. I guess technically we can Unleashed Energy our Clockling and then get a stun with the Minefield, but it's not ideal. He's definitely going to open on us. Let's be real. But I don't think I'm willing to boost the sarcophagus. I want to get the units out of it next turn. So this is going to stun the 4/2. We get a +4/+2 of our own. And now the question is, do we throw the Clockling in front of Draven? He's out of spinning axes, but it's pretty easy for him to have a trick or a spell. But I think this is good in front of the Urchin. It's not like super appealing, but I want to ensure that we have a blocker for his next attack.
Together, we are stronger than stone, faster than the wind. Come on, there's so much to see.
All right, well, we got some units on board. We fell a little bit behind, but hopefully we'll catch up after this. As it stands, he has, well, it's awkward when they have that 4/2. The 4/2 can block our 5/3 overwhelms, but all the blockers now. So I think we're just going to be attacking the Taliyah. Well, Ziggs is coming to the party. You're always a welcome attack, my dude. So adding in Ziggs, the idea will be I'm going to spend the mana crystal to blow up his 4/3, and then all of his units will die to Ziggs as well. Mana gem 4 to a unit. He can pretty easily just refill here, but I think this is still the way to go about it. Try and get a good Ziggs attack. I think we have to attack if he just passes. You know, there is a world where he's like saving up Whirling Death mana, and oh shit. Well, to a degree that could just be to put the unit on board, but that's certainly scary. I don't think we have to worry about a Whirling Death though now. It's tough. If it was too greedy, maybe we should have attacked with our Clocklings as well. That's tough. That's an odd board for us to have to deal with. I don't think he's gonna have like the burn in hand just to boom us. But now we've got to throw away a unit to stun this Scion. It's not the end of the world. Alright, you got a sweet landmark for us? No. No. Sure don't. The Preservarian can be okay. I don't think we want to play it this turn. If we want to overwrite something, well, we could overwrite a Clockling, right? I think that's okay. It's never going to attack through for damage. And Ziggs. We just have to find the Absolver, or we got to find the thing that gives us big, makes all of our champions big. What happens if Scion gets the rally this turn? He's an 8-4. It's a little scary when we can't drop the arsenal, but what happens? Man, I'm just not excited about any of this. I guess we could attack with Taliyah. He blocks Taliyah with Scion, and then we can block the comeback at you and take 2. Doesn't seem awesome. Pass. Gotta get something going with the arsenal, maybe. I'm just kind of like looking at this board and looking at the Ziggs, and I'm like, all right, well, Ziggs can block Scion. He doesn't kill him, and we oh fuck, and then he gets to still do a couple points of damage. Well, okay. Okay. That's going to leave a bruise. All right. So onto the Heimerdinger deck. I think this is at least the space we want to be in. I feel like Akshan Sivir has to be pretty decent against it, but let's run the Taliyah deck back at him. I guess it all just depends on what their Bandle City suite is. And they're not worried too much about like the Piltover cards and pulling off the combo, right? They're just dealing damage to you, but it's going to be a matter of like, are you playing stress defense? Are you playing polymorph? Are you playing Gnar stun? A lot of stuff shuts it down that way. Awkward ass hands over and over again. Not good. Not good. Gotta be. It can be like decent if you're up against another mid-rangey deck where you start with like the Endless Devout into Taliyah, but man, up against a Heimerdinger deck that's most certainly more control decky than you, this is not how you want to look. Rockhopper here to save the day. It's fairly tempting to not play him here in the face of Otterpuss, but if we get to trade our Endless Devout for whatever their 2-drop or whatever their 3-drop is, it feels like a bit of a win. Sure. I'm trying to envision this scenario where we get to pass and he just doesn't play any units, and then we get to blow up the Roiling Sands with the Desert Naturalist. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But why would you do that? Don't play Flash of Brilliances like that. All right. Get the takedown. And the minefield. Not awesome. I think we just have to go ahead and get it on board. It's like we don't really want to be copying it with Taliyah, but gotta copy something with her. Just such a awkward ass draw. Maybe we just don't do that yet. We can find the space to maybe find another landmark to get with her. It's pretty expensive to do though. He's just like not very incentivized to try and kill the Endless Devout at this point. How do we feel about this? If we want to drop a Rite of the Arcane onto Heimerdinger, it's like we're already sitting on the arsenal. I think so. He doesn't have like a ton of mana, but if he does get to generate some 1-drops with the pranks, it's gonna be miserable. I wonder if it's like I don't know what like level we're playing at here. But I'm wondering if we could have got him to just block the. Oh, he's just going to kill it anyways. Beautiful, beautiful. That's like what the big struggle was for this game was like how do we get the landmark on board and get this sarcophagus down? And it was like I was kind of thinking in my head, it's like maybe we could get him to try and block the unit with Heimerdinger, but that does let him drop all those pranks. Donger number 2. He only has like 1 spell at this point. So it's like, what if we copy with Taliyah, let him play the prank, and then next turn we open with the Rite of the Arcane? Or, I mean, let's do this actually. Let's just give up another mana gem. It sucks to do when you're holding onto the arsenal, but Heimerdinger is such an important unit to take down, and we're about to actually just start doing stuff here, and so I think that's okay. We're in a decent spot to just come in and open. His block is not very good, and then we can copy the sarcophagus with Taliyah and hopefully win on the next attack. So this booms for 6 and takes him to 7. And then this Taliyah copy onto the sarcophagus. When they flip next turn, it's going to flip both our Taliyah and our Ziggs. Worried about this. I'm not exactly sure what kind of shenanigans come out of Curious Shellfolk, but I'm not going to be happy about any of them. I can already tell. I thought our Taliyah was going to flip. I don't want to have to overwrite anything here, but we may find ourselves needing to overwrite this 2/4. But whatever combo they're trying to pull off with the Curious Shellfolk, they'll get to do it next turn. I don't even know what this thing does. When you pick a non-champion card from randomly selected options, create a copy in hand, reduce its cost by 1. I thought there was some kind of like infinite combo with this Shellfolk or something pretty close to it. Whatever it is, they're doing it next turn. That's right, one little one, one big one. You get all the booms in there, Ziggs. All right, well, if we have to here, we can like play Ancient Preparations, overwrite the Naturalist, and then overwrite the Naturalist with the Inventive Chemist. I just don't think that's going to do anything on this board. I do like hitting the Overwhelm potentially with the Ancient Preparations, though. Right, give us a shot to pick up an Absolver, to pick up a pick up the Magus. Although the Magus feels awfully slow. You pick a non-champion card from randomly selected options. Okay. So whenever you manifest, right? Put a copy in hand to cost 1 less. Sure. All right, there's the Absolver. Beautiful. So again, like I don't know what kind of like weird shit we're gonna run into here, but we hopefully have the answers. It's gonna be a bit worrisome against somebody that's just played 2 Conchologists and the potential for them to have Gnar stuns. But all right, it looks like Pokestick was one of the cards. So we can beat the Pokesticks. That's not a big deal. It's just the various stress defense style cards he can have here. And I guess even like stress defense isn't that terrible. We can still overwhelm through it. Do these things still do anything? Since Taliyah's gone, do these actually count? Looks like it does. It says he's at 1. Alright, so I mean, the thing we have to worry about here is the Gnar stun, right? And so, if he's going to have a successful Gnar stun, I guess we want him to keep the Otterpuss. Ugh. Not real stoked about this. Takes him to neg 4. Just so easy for him to have a stun here. Nope. I don't think Trinket Trade will do it. I'm not sure what all that manifests. I guess it's technically 1 cheaper because of the Shellfolk, but might have got us out of here. Nice. Yeah, we gotta play against this weird ass deck again. It at least feels safer when you have Sivir giving your whole team give your whole team spell shield. That's good to know. Good to know the Taliyah thing still works after she's been hit with Minimorph. It's like these are the things you pick up when you just play Constructed and you play like the same like 5 and 6 decks over and over again. It's like you get so used to playing Expedition, and like I think we just did like a Lee Sin trial and that was like 490 or so. And then the last one was at like 440. And so there's just like such a wide range of what you can be running into with Expedition. Like when was the last time Lee Sin was even relevant and Constructed? It's been a while. So all right, Otterpuss down. We have lots of action in hand in terms of being able to deal with a Heimerdinger or the Curious Shellfolk. So hopefully we're looking pretty good. Sure. Bringing in all that thunder with the Otterpuss. This is a little unfortunate. I was hoping we'd be able to chunk in some damage here as we get like a quick attack challenge with Sivir and then chunk in with the 4-2. But it's not the way it works. Nice drawing the Sivir. Like, I have to assume that he's going to like invest a lot into taking her down, and then just having the second one is pretty important. Just churn through those spells. See if he drops the Pokesticks in squad. Need a little bit more dudage, though. we've got all the interactivity. We're lacking the dudes now. I think we're just kind of like stuck playing the Bright Steel and playing Cataclysm this turn. Not a good collection of units to be spending this on, but I mean, do we really just drop Ricochet here? I can't imagine that's ever a good play. tried to imagine it. I just couldn't do it. Get Sivir up to 10 damage in terms of the flip. It's pretty far away. Definitely need something a little bit more aggressive here. I do like how the Sivir's panning out against this deck, but we definitely need a little bit more thunder.
I don't need rules to know good from bad.
Action's all about that thunder. Such premium. the old Volley Pedro here hasn't learned about paying the pay-to-win price. So how do we feel about potentially sharp-sighting the Brightsteel Protector and then following up with a Ricochet, right? We're going to get 2 5-damage hits if we sharp-sight. Maybe we Ricochet the next turn after that. Okay. I'm on board. These sharp sights feel like they're going to be pretty dead this game, and so it doesn't feel too concerning to drop one on this board. But I mean, we don't have an Absolver here or anything, so it kind of limits us in terms of getting the Sivir Overwhelm KO. So if we can't get the Sivir Overwhelm, maybe we can empty out their whole board with ricochets. Okay. Generate this? I had to have, yeah. Loping Telescope. Everyone's favorite card in Loping Telescope. There's the Shellfolk. We don't have a great way to deal with it. I mean, we can single combat the Shellfolk and then just play another Sivir. It's also kind of interesting in terms of it lets us play a boosted Radiant Guardian. The Radiant's not super strong against what he's doing, but the option is there. Or, I guess the second thing we could say is, what if we just play the Radiant Guardian as a 4/5 and then single combat off of that one? I think I'm okay with that. I don't want to like have to throw away Sivirs. +2 cost onto single combat's fine. We're pretty much spent all the mana we can anyways here. I guess he can re-prank us and maybe hit the +2 cost onto single combat. That would be a bit unfortunate, but it seems like he's going to let us do stuff. Still, I don't know what this deck is trying to do, but it feels like the Shellfolk is it. Okay. Two away from flipping Sivir. Draw another one. Just all the Sivirs. She's got to be bringing quick attack challenges, but man, wish we had something a little more. It's like we're not going to be dealing any damage here. Gotta find that Absolver. It's like it's almost tempting to just go ahead and play Sharp Sight so that we get to draw a card a turn sooner with the Warlord's Palace. But I mean, I guess like realistically, we need the Absolver to get the Overwhelm kill, but we're going to be short on damage anyways at this point. We actually have to get that damage in with the ricochets if we want to get lethal. Yep, that's scary. I mean, he did it last game. Should we have just played the double ricochet into this thing? Maybe we should have. Maybe we should have. Now he's got to I guess he can't prank the ricochets, right? Since they're technically champions. Seems like it's like we have to do it, but we're so far away from it actually. You know, like we play one, it's not going to kill the Shellfolk. We play the second one, it maybe, gets a little bit closer, but it's by no means guaranteed. We would have done 10 damage on the previous turn. Maybe would have done it. All right, well, there's the Absolver. He does have a bunch of pranks in hand. No, is he out of pranks? He has one prank, but we should be able to play it even through a bunch of pranks. All right, because we're just going to open next turn and do it. But, I mean, he put a pokey stick onto Sivir. I wonder if we have to worry about... worry about him having like a mini morph. She picks up spell shield when she attacks though, right? No. I'm just used to her still having it when she flips.
Time is money.
Crap. Oh, that's scary when she's not passing out that ability to all of our units. I think I'm okay to play one though. Are we? I don't know. I don't know what he ever has that's relevant. I have no idea what this guy's doing other than taking a lot of time playing trinkets. Alright, all the Otterpuses have been deployed. This has to be like a failure of a Sivir attack, right? Well, I'm attacking. Attacking allies have my keywords.
Business as usual.
Can we punch through enough damage somewhere else? Like if we put all these Absolver hits onto Radiant Guardian? Did I need to give her Overwhelm before she actually attacked? Did I mess that up too? I think I messed that up. She's not going to magically spread Overwhelm to the rest of our units. Oh, yeah, she does. Okay. Jesus. But now the Mini-Morph comes in and takes it all away. Okay. It's like, I want to just concede this game now, but it's like I know that the gauntlet is over. I would still like to figure out what this guy's doing, but it's like I know we're going to be here another 20 minutes trying to figure out whatever dumb combo he has is. But I'm not... I mean, I'm not sure how we were supposed to approach that turn, though. We could have... like got an attack in and then played a concerted strike onto the Shellfolk instead. But it's tough. This no spell shield Sivir is definitely not getting the job done. Okay.
Gotta find a kid for Renekton, right, Arda?
All right, are we going to clear out these one healthers now? Did we hit all of the minions? No, we did not. How did they even go? 2 onto the Archivist, 1 kill and 1 to face? Ugh, that was bad.
It's a living.
All right, and then if this gets stunned or whatever, we'll just call it a day. This attack is not particularly good, but if our units have quick attack, it's fine, but...
A missing piece?
Okay. Ugh. So yeah, I don't know what that deck, how it's supposed to win, other than just being annoying. I guess he was gonna, like, grind us out at some point, but... Man, I don't know, that seems kind of dumb to me. It's like I'll occasionally see on Reddit people talking about the curious shellfolk, but I'm never like really certain as to what is going on. It looks like stuff that's just in Lab of Legends or something that you try to pull off in normals. I mean, I guess we lost to it twice, but it's kind of odd to me in playing both of those games. It's like, is that a deck that can never win a game if you don't draw your Shellfolk? And that's why I was like a little leery to play the to play the Cataclysm. That was like one of our few ways to get a big attack onto the Shellfolk. Right? It's like single combats just give trades as to where Cataclysm gives kills. But we just had to have like something to do. Our draw was so super awkward that game. But on to the next up. They were playing Yuumi Pantheon. I'm glad to get that banned. The Elise deck is typically not good, or typically strong against like the scouts and such, and so okay to let that go. This is super, super awkward, picking up 3 Hextech Minefields. That's not how you win games, my dudes. I think we'll just take the second Ancient Prep so we can stay on curve. Plays Elise, we have to stun her. That's fine. We'll follow up with the other Ancient Prep. Get a Ziggs down next turn. What do we got in here? Kind of tempted to pick up Rite of the Arcane. It doesn't seem like we have a very strong Endless Devout draw. I'm not sure where it ever gets to trade with anything. I kind of want the removal for this Elise, but picking up another 3/3 is not that bad. It's a good fearsome blocker. Maybe we can just get it killed off. Bringing it. All right, give us that useless 2/2. And let's see what happens. Legion Rearguard, my dude. I'm all about what you're doing. So we can't block the Fearsomes. That's not super cool. The Minefield will hit the Elise, though. So it gets to hit us for 6. We can throw our 2/3 in front of the Legion Rearguard. Okay. Then, still not awesome. We don't have any way to sacrifice off the Endless Devout. And then this is one of these weird spaces as well that we have all these minefields on the board, and so we can't summon stuff. I don't quite want to advertise that we have the Absolver right here. And so we'll just attack with these. He's not super incentivized to block with his Elise. I was going to say, I think he probably just takes the damage. And then we can try and get an Absolver block next turn. I'm curious if we should hold on to the Endless Devout. Like, if he has another Frenzied Skitterer, it's pretty scary, but it's also kind of tough just to have two of those, and so I think it's okay. At the end of the day, if we have to, we can replay the Minefield to
Let me change into something
to get a stun. This is fine. He only has one value hook here.
If they don't break, they'll burn. Make the Empire proud.
All right. Bring them all in, my dude. Ziggs, you're in combat. Close are you to flipping? 2? We'll go up 1 next turn with the sarcophagus. It's just like, if we find either a Rite of the Arcane or an Unleashed Energy, then we can get a flip. It's going to take us to... That's so low, though. But it's like, do we ever win the game? Right? The downside to taking all this damage is we die to Decimate. Do we ever win the game with a block here, though? We might. It's just like I can envision us playing the Rockhopper post combat, getting the thing, whatever the Roiling Sands opponent playing a landmark and flipping the Ziggs, and then killing with the Absolver through a Ziggs attack. Let's just lead with Rockhopper. The sarcophagus is going to flip, but we won't have any space for it. So it looks like we're going to be like a damage short, but we get to kill his whole team. Bouncing Bomb, that's pretty interesting. Okay, so we attack with everything, right? He blocks everything except our 2 smalls, which would be for 5 plus 1 with Ziggs is 6. We have to Bouncing Bomb. I didn't want to give him the opportunity to play Decimate here, but it's not going to matter either way. So at least this way we can do 9. If he just plays a unit and just has a handful of units, if he plays I don't know, Kato the Arm here, he can block our 2 bigs, then he takes 8 from our units and 1 from Ziggs. See if we did it. All right, he blocked something. He blocked something else. Game says 0. Game still says 0. Move him around as you wish. Nice. I don't know if Akshan Sivir can beat this deck, but it's a tough matchup. But at least we get 2 shots with Akshan Sivir here. If you're coin flipping twice, then you should be winning 75% of the time. All right. Not removing us that easily. All right, so we're definitely hanging on to the Akshan. It's like we're playing 2 copies of Radiant Guardian. This is a place where it should be pretty good. It's just like if we get one of these awkward draws, I don't know why the deck tracker can't figure out what we're doing, but if we get one of these awkward draws to where we don't have any other early plays besides Akshan, then we're just going to get run over. but let's risk it. If the Radiant even gets in like one hit, then that should be enough to win the game. All right, we drew a bunch of cheap stuff. That's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, that's pretty awesome. And I'm gonna lead with the Petricite Broadwing here, not leading with Akshan. I want to just take his units off the board. It's not about getting value out of the Warlord's Palace, it's about not dying.
Come close.
Put up Elise.
I don't bite.
She doesn't bite. He's gonna open. That feels like a win if he opens. We take 3 damage. We get to build up our board nicely. Sure. I was trying to think if we want to like lead with the Vanguard Sergeant and then play the Merciless Hunter next turn. I think we have some like options this way. Like we can wait and see what we draw. We might want to play Brightsteel Protector into Akshan so that we can save the Sharp Sight for his turn. And now that he's dealt a point of damage to Elise and we can kill her with the action, I think we're going to play our 2/4s instead of playing the Vanguard Sergeant. The awkward thing with that is if we want to get like the Radiant down on opponent's turn, we can't play the Sharp Sight that turn. This has just got to be so good though. We got the right of negation for his end of game Decimate. This is just getting better and better.
Don't want to die? Don't do terrible things. Villains beware.
Okay, we'll leave the Brightsteel Protector back. Should be easy for him to get a reasonably wide board. I don't want to just trade it for this 2/3. Looking pretty good.
There's nothing to fear.
Just give us one of those dead units so we can get the Radiant on.
They grow up so fast.
Don't need to play one now. We can just block all the way across his board. We'll take one from something. But does that change anything? How much can we block? We can put Merciless Hunter in front of something. We can put Akshan in front of the 2/1, the 2/2 somewhere else. It might be a little greedy. We can replay the Radiant next turn.
A Demacian soldier is worth 10 foes.
You're dead meat.
Oh, come now.
No closer.
Something like this. Take 5. We could Sharp Sight here. I like it. Just prevent a little bit more damage. Then with the idea being we'll get the Radiant Guardian down next turn and then just have protection from Decimate and the Rite of Negation. I think we're fine. I think we're fine, guys. Can we just lethal this turn? We're a little bit too far away. You get excited when you see all these unit boosting cards in hand, but we're a little too far away.
I fight for the fallen.
Doom beats us to 8. All right, he has 1 card in hand. I think we're pretty okay now. I feel safe. So we can play the Vagabond and then still have mana for both Rite of Negation and
We are what we do.
the Absolver. We're good. I've never felt better. You don't even really need to do it, but there's no reason to risk it. Want to kill an ally? Nah. Nah, we'll take the mana gem. I'd cupcake it, but that's inappropriate, right? Inappropriate. Let's just take the dude in the tracker. I'm intending on playing the 4 Demacia next turn. All right. We've done it. We bested Elise 2 in a row. Not sure. I'm curious how that matchup's supposed to look. Where are we at? He banned scouts. It's not something I think would typically be a good matchup, but Elise slightly favored for Akshan Sivir, and then Elise. Elise has just been murdering Taliyah Ziggs. Interesting. That was like super close, right? We barely won with Taliyah Ziggs there. I'm pretty sure that's a terrible matchup for scouts as well. So I guess we could have looked. Where are you at? Archetype Analyzer. As the things are coming up. Oh, wow. Scouts has a super positive matchup against that. Interesting. But all right. So what are we up against here? There are no Pantheons. This like Karma Ezreal deck, I don't think it's kind of like the strongest thing in the world, but we do have like real issues with the Eye of the Dragon things. It can be extremely tough for all of our decks to actually deal with, and so I think that's where we're going to go for the ban. I do slightly worry though about trying to play against Galio Soraka. That's also traditionally a pretty bad matchup for all of these decks. Maybe we go for the Galio Soraka, and then if we have to play against Ezreal twice, then maybe we'll we won't have to deal with the big Eye of the Dragon draws every time. It's like one draw is reasonable, but if you have to ever deal with 2 of them, it's just like way too much. Okay, then I like to get rid of the Preservarium here. I guess there is kind of an argument to hang on to these, since Solution is so super high valued, just to make sure we have the removal spell to popping. We do have the Ancient Preparations, though, to help clean up these draws a little bit. Alright, I'll hold on to the right just in case. Our interactivity in this deck is just super low. Not happy to pick up a second one, though. Soul Shepherd. How are we supposed to deal with that? I think we want Shaped Stone here. I don't want to have to hit the Soul Shepherd with a Shaped Stone, but oh wow, and he just doesn't attack. Interesting. Well, we're ready with our sweet combat tricks if that's what comes down to.
Go ahead, light the fuse.
I'm not familiar with what's happening here. I thought this was just going to be like something with the Harrowing and the Go Wide cards or something, but we see plenty of this kind of thing in Expedition, but I'm not exactly sure how it's going to look and constructed. Super awkward hand here, not having any landmarks in it. You can still cast Unleashed Energy without a landmark, but it doesn't feel very good. I think we're about to start burning mana crystals. Well, we can play one Unleashed Energy to protect our 2/2. That's really not exciting. Oh, no. It has 3 attack here. Okay. Oh, this is bad. Gonna play a spell on our Ziggs. Oh, the second Grand Plaza. Not sure why you would ever do this. I mean, I guess it does boost your units an additional +1 attack, but takes up the slot on your board. It's usually just the Challenger that you care about. Alright, let's play an Unleashed Energy. That's the expensive one. We're just gonna have. Hang on. Can't just lose Ziggs like this, right? Sad noises. Sad noises. I feel like we're just gonna get blown out next turn, but he's gonna say, "Here's a second haunted relic." How do you feel about that? I mean, we've got him super low. We've got him to 9. Okay. Take 6, lose Ziggs. Okay. Not a ton we can do about that. But we can still get a big blow-up kill. we can hit his Grand Plazas with the Desert Naturalist. Not exactly what we're looking to do here. I think we just have to give up on all of these and hope we draw something reasonable. I guess, well, I forgot we're putting the landmark down. We could have hit the Ancient Preparations with the thing, but oh boy, Hecarim. So we can get up to 4-2, get 6 health. We needed to cast the spell on this first. I guess we're like kind of far away enough from lethal to where it may not matter, but we're not presenting a lethal now. Right, we needed to present a lethal with that attack. Maybe we're okay since we have 2 units on board. Like, he gets to attack with Hecarim, he's gonna flip. I don't think we're getting out of this one. Hecarim does too much damage.
Keep your eyes on the horizon and your feet on the ground.
It's Taliyah. Alright, so we just have to throw all the damage we can in front of Hecarim. There's nothing we can do about it. I guess we could have tried to pop him for damage last turn. No, that's all short. So that we could like kill him in this combat, but it is what it is. I'm not convinced that that's a bad matchup, but that draw was super, super awkward. Drawing all of the landmark destruction without any of the landmark cards, kind of a problem. But let's run Taliyah Ziggs into this again. I feel like I don't feel like this is like a fantastic matchup against Ezreal Karma. It just I still think it just comes down to whether or not they've hit a Eye of the Dragon. All right, reasonable start. I'm kind of tempted to hang on to the Absolver here. It's a decent-ish combat trick, but it just feels like ultra important to have as a game closer against this guy.
If it's made of sand, I can write it.
Okay. Gonna get them sweet, sweet rolling sands eventually. Get the booms. Beam? Oh, concussive pollen. Interesting. Just out here trying to spend mana? There's the Eye of the Dragon. I think this is okay. Like, we are missing out on just killing off the sarcophagus, but we don't have any like big plays lined up around it. Should at least be tough for him this turn to play 2 spells. We're getting close to the kind of lethal zone.
It's not bragging if you can back it up.
He's gonna get 2 spells this turn. That's gonna be one of the important things to see. Yep. We can technically kill the little dragon with. Well, no, we're gonna miss out on getting it this turn. Sure. So here I'm kind of leaning towards just going for everything, right? We can add Rockhopper. Then if he doesn't play a unit and we get to Desert Naturalist the Roiling Sands, that would be pretty fantastic. Chunk in. He only has a good block with the Dragongling on Rockhopper, which we could just choose to not attack with. I think this is okay. Then our Ziggs will be flipped on the next attack, and we'll have double Absolver to try and overwhelm through all of this. I think we might have done it. It's going to be close. Okay. Gets to refill. That's a little scary. A little scary. All the tricks for next turn, though.
Watch and learn.
All right, so I think it might come down to just like however many stuns he's able to play next turn. He did just draw 2. Not worried about this. I'm gonna just replace whatever unit he kills with our little Yordle bro. But it's getting a little scary in these parts.
I've never tried this chemical before.
How much is this for? 6? Alright, not dead yet, Ziggs. Not dead yet. Alright, let's see if we can punch. Of course, Taliyah shows up now.
I am wearing my goggles.
So we'll do the little to big with Ziggs on the left. The idea with Ziggs on the left is if he blocks it with the Dragonling, he gets to punch in his Overwhelm still. It seems like he's probably going to get boomed by some kind of burn spell here, but we might be able to absolve her out of it. Right? We can get +3 health here if we need to. That's pretty close. Can we chunk in Overwhelm damage here? We could chunk in Overwhelm on the right. So he can still have like 1 more removal here, but I think this might be enough. Protect both of our units. Overwhelm on the end. It says neg 11. That's a pretty large amount of damage. If I did the calculations correct on that amount of damage is large. Okay, I think we might have done it. Oh. The time trick has to find 2 answers here, which he needs to take down 2 units to stop all of that. Oof. Okay, that's another close one. The finalist of battles. The final battle of the gauntlet. Game 3. It all comes down to this. The pressure is on. Everyone is scared. Get to bring the scouts against Karma Ezreal. It just feels like a terrible matchup. Well, again, like it feels like it comes down to if they pick up the Jesus, it is there's only there's only 14 games listed against it, but it's been getting murdered by scouts. Oh, and we got the Stony Suppressor in here as well. Okay, I think the question comes down to is, do we want to keep this Mirai Warden? It doesn't combat well against a lot of what he's doing. Let's go ahead and get rid of it and look for a little bit more interactivity. You're gonna say, oh my gosh, this guy's playing Stony Suppressors. He did get to lead with the Eye of the Dragon, though. That's pretty painful. Hopefully we just get the shutdown on it now. He just says, LOL, really? Well, let's see what happens. My intent here is to put the Brightsteel Protector onto the Stony Suppressor. That may not be what's happening, but that's the one I want to be protecting from 2 spells this turn. Right, like we just give up on the Fleet Feather Tracker, make him play 2 spells onto the Bright. Like it just becomes impossible to play 2 on the Suppressor now. We get the takedown on the Feline. If we get the trade, some kind of trade for Eye of the Dragon, that would be fantastic. But he never offers that up. Okay, and then we're inching like closer and closer to being able to protect our Suppressor with Sharp Sight. Ooh, that's kind of scary. He's ever able to play all of these spells.
The Demacian soldier is worth 10 foes.
Oh, did he finally bring it all together? Looks like he did. Oh man, this is asking for so much trouble for opponent here if we're able to Sharp Sight through this. We can't play both of them, unfortunately. I think like it should just be good enough with one. So let's add Misfortune. Right, if he plays like a 2 damage removal onto the Suppressor and we get Sharp Sight out of it, the game is just realistically over. I gotta quit saying that though. The game's not over. It looks much worse for him.
Ready yourself. The dragon binds us. Ready yourself.
Interesting. Why would he block the 3/4? That's like our most challenging unit to kill with the Eye of the Dragons. There's some kind of weird AoE I'm supposed to be reading into. That feels pretty good. So if we want to play both, well, what's realistically going to happen is we're just going to Sharp Sight into this Ezreal. I mean, I don't think we even really care, but feels pretty safe. LOL. Oh, bring on the frowns. Okay. So do we just open here? I don't think I'm like a huge fan of just opening. Oh, we just picked up Mirai Warden. Okay.
Nice to meet you. I'm Isla.
And we can drop a 4 Demacia on this turn as well. That should be the blowout we're looking for. Can't play a static shock anymore. I think we've done it. He says, oh no. FTP Bust bringing the technology on me, dropping the stony suppressors. Oh, what a game ender. Some deck trying to play Eye of the Dragons into Stony Suppressor doesn't really cut it. It's so cool. Cool, we'll snatch up another Prime Glory. Feeling good. I got 2 of these things. I don't know what that matters to or what it amounts for, but you know, we're getting warmed up for that last chance gauntlet. And so, yeah, we can pull these up and talk about them, you know, a touch more. Everyone is, of course, familiar with scouts. We do play the stony suppressors, as you got to see there at the end. And then the other technology we have is we're expecting to, of course, ban out their Yuumi Pantheon, try and focus in on their early game aggressive decks, and that's what we're adding then the Penitent Squires and the island, or not the island navigators, but the Radiant Guardians. Now, I've been kind of like considering like toning some of this down. When I like first did this this thing of adding in the Penitent Squires, we were running into a lot of Gnar Ziggs and a lot of the really aggressive based Freylord Overwhelm decks that were playing the 3-2 for 2 Overwhelm thing that does a damage to face. And there were just like tons and tons and tons of face damage running around. And if you were getting hit by that Overwhelm guy without any plays, then it was really painful. And so these Penitent Squires can come out. I'm leaning like more and more and more towards taking them out. But that is the idea behind that. That's why this is in here. I really just wanted another 1-drop in the face of all of the really aggressive Gnar decks. But I think now that Gnar has kind of like toned down, the most common forms of Gnar are going to be Yordles in Arms, and it's going to be concurrent timelines. And it's not as important against those. And so I've been kind of like towing around with the idea of taking the Penitent Squires out, probably just adding in another Island Navigator and then another flex card, but maybe Jin Vivi makes her way back in. But that's why they're there. That's kind of the technology out of our Scouts deck. Akshan Sivir, pretty straightforward, has the same ideas behind it, right? We're focusing on more 1-drops. A lot of these decks play 2, a lot of them play 3. We're in here playing 4. We have the double Radiant Guardians as opposed to playing 2 or 3 copies of Vicaran Bruisers, and that is to, again, focus a little bit heavier on our opponent's early game plays as opposed to having to deal with the mid-rangey style decks that we're just banning out. And then you got to see a lot of Taliyah Ziggs today. We played this against everything. You know, it worked out nicely against everything that we played it against. I am playing the Ancient Preparations in here. You don't see this as commonly amongst the Taliyah Ziggs decks, at least in all the do your research work I did. Get on Facebook and do your research. But I really like the Ancient Preparations just to have that early game play, but then also we are looking for some specific cards at specific points in time, right? If it's the early game and we need to just find a curve card, works there. If we need to dig for the Arsenal, it works there. If we need to dig for an Overwhelm in the Magus or the Absolver, it works there. And so it keeps you from just having to kind of naturally draw everything. And I've been pretty happy with it. And then the other thing that you see in a lot of the Taliyah Ziggs decks is just playing 3 Pokesticks. I think it's tough to find places where Pokestick is good in here. It's a little bit too expensive to be interactive when you're early, and I wasn't finding enough places to where it was like, well, it's after combat. I have 1 real mana, 1 spell mana. Let's Pokestick down a unit and move on to the next turn. I couldn't get that to happen frequently enough, and that's where this 1 copy of Shaped Stone came from. But hey, you know, list it was good enough to get us to the Prime Glory. Again, last week we played extremely similar. We played the same Scouts deck. We played the same Akshan Sivir deck, but we played Yordles in Arms as the third deck choice. But this week I did a lot of tinkering through the Balco lists, looking for decks that really kind of fit the themes that we're trying to pull off, and that was where. I've messed up the analyzer here. Maybe if we switch it to match count. Here we go. Right, we're looking for decks that were getting smoked by Yuumi Pantheon, but then had pretty good matchups against the rest of the board. Darkness being the important one to be good against, but the other kind of slower decks we feel like we could just kind of smoke, and then the aggressive decks were tuned a little bit to beat. And so I think in 3 of the 5 matches we got to ban out Pantheon, and that worked pretty nicely here today as they see the 30% win rate for scouts against Yuumi Pantheon. And so, yeah, that's it. That's going to do it. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. You learned how to hit the booms a little bit bigger. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.